Okay, so let's talk about the ending of the Northman and what does it mean. So Amleth is very much so like the original story that Hamlet is based on, a little different from Hamlet. So definitely look into that if you haven't already. Very interesting right there. But let's get right into this. So Amleth, who pretty much saw his father be killed by his uncle and his mother taken by his uncle, narrowly escapes being killed himself by his uncle. And I feel like I'm saying uncle a lot, so I'm going to try not to. Anyways, before we get any further into this, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure the notification bell's turned on. But let's get right into this. So years and years pass by. Amleth is now a part of a group that goes around and they raid villages, and pretty much he finds out through these raids at one of them that the uncle actually lost the kingdom, as Amleth's father was the king at the time, and then his uncle of course became the king once he killed the father. But he eventually lost his kingdom to somebody else, and now he's a sheep farmer. So when Amleth hears about slaves being taken to that sheep farm, he's like, I'm going over there and I'm killing him, saving my mother and avenging my father's death. So as he does do this, he eventually meets up with another slave called Olga, who he becomes a thing with. And he's planning the revenge and everything. He finds a mystical sword that will grant him like the ability to be able to take down all of this, as the uncle has a son as well, and a son with his mother now. And he's just like, I'm just gonna kill my uncle, take my mother, and just make everything right. This doesn't go as planned. Of course, the mother actually, it turns out that she had plotted to kill the father and him way before, and she wanted all of that to happen. So when she sees Amleth is alive, it's kind of like, damn, why didn't you die back then? But then she turns this whole thing into an Oedipus situation, and everybody was like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, or you and me, we can become king and queen. Of course, Amleth's like, this is wrong. What the fuck is wrong with you? And eventually we do see that Amleth is able to escape, and he's able to almost live a life with Olga after he pretty much tears everything down from the uncle as he kills the eldest son and all of that. And Olga's like, yeah, now that we have a chance, let's just get out of here. Let's just live our life. Let's forget all about that. You don't have to go back there. You narrowly almost died as well, so let's just stop all this. And Amleth kind of like, okay, we can do this. But when he finds out that Olga is pregnant with his children, he's like, no, if I don't kill him now, he will come and hunt my kids. It's never going to be over. I need to finish him off. So he goes back, leaves Olga, and he is out there killing. Like, he kills his mother, he kills his younger half brother. Of course, it's all an accident, as he has no other choice as they attack him as well. And then him and the uncle have one final duel in a volcano, naked. It was crazy. Very epic, very Viking-ish feel to it. He does kill the uncle by beheading him, but he does get stabbed as well, and eventually dying. And this is how the story ends. He sees his Olga, and he sees his two children in crowns, and he knows that now he can go to Valhalla. His children are safe, and they will one day rule again. That's the end. So I think a very big thing about the end right here is it is very much so mystical and very, very like magic-y. This movie did have a lot of moments that I feel like take it from not just being an action movie to much deeper meaning, as well as family and continuing bloodlines and just like one's purpose, one's destiny. He very much so heard from the vision he had at the beginning that he could not live a life where he would be with his children and live a life where he pretty much would be dying for his purpose. His whole thing was avenging his father, saving his mother. Of course, he couldn't save his mother, but he avenged his father. In the end, he was able to keep his own children safe from meeting a fate of death, and he is now in Valhalla, as Valhalla is the only way to achieve it for the Vikings, as they said, was to die in battle. His own father said he didn't want to die with gray beard. He was going to die in battle and go to Valhalla. So that's pretty much, I think, Amleth's thinking as well throughout the whole thing, is if he went with Olga, lived a life, he would still be in the back of his mind worrying about the uncle and not knowing exactly what was going to happen next. And this way he could assure that the uncle could never come for his children, and they could go on and continue the tree of life, which was so important when the father had the heart-to-heart with him and Willem Dafoe. this tree was the most important thing that they had for themselves, this pride. And so that was what Amleth died with in the end. Whether you want to believe that was a noble way of dying or this was dumb, it was still his purpose, and this was something that was fueling him in order to continue on to be able to do what he did throughout the whole movie. So I think that was an important thing that the movie was trying to say as well, is that sometimes you have this whole purpose and you have this whole like drive within you, and that's the only thing that's keeping you forward. What happens when that's completely gone? And Amleth had lived this whole life of just like pure anger and revenge and all of that. He knew he couldn't live with it throughout, and trying to be a father as well. And the best thing was for Olga to raise his children and for them to be safe. So that's exactly why he had to go back and defeat his uncle, which he did. So by the end of it, we do see him go to Valhalla as he died in battle, and that's the end of it all. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on it all. That was just my little interpretation and everything on it. Very curious to know what others think. Did you like the movie? Did you not? I know there is like a part of the movie that does feel a little bit long, and to me it could have been trimmed a little bit. There was some moment in the last part of the film where it felt like it was about to be the end, and then it stretched on for like another 30-40 minutes, and you were just like, okay, I'm completely out of this movie now, but okay. But overall, I think it's a great film. It is my favorite Robert Eggers film right now, and it might switch back after I watch it again. But in my first viewing, it's still my favorite just because of the way it looks, the action shots, as well as the story. But we'll see. We'll see at another view if it does flip-flop or not. So, as always, that is going to do it for me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when these videos drop. I do have some videos out already for other stuff maybe you might be interested in, such as Atlanta, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I will be doing a video on the bad guys as well, so stay tuned for all of that. But as always, that's going to do it for me. Check out the video on the left once it comes up. Follow my social media as it's provided somewhere here by the end of it. TikTok, Twitter is Culture Elixir. I do have a podcast out as well, so make sure you go check that out as well, and follow me wherever you want to. I'll be uploading some of the episodes here on YouTube, but they'll be up on the podcast website first, Spotify, and I don't know if we're an Apple Podcast yet. But as always, that's going to do it for me. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.